We're so happy to have you for another edition of our lovely wine club. Okay, so this is our 2013 oaked Chardonnay from Wilms Vineyard. From previous edition, I talked to you a little bit about the library wines, but for our new members, I'll go through that again. As winemaker, we only have one shot a year to make a wine, and then every year is different in terms of climate, in terms of condition, in terms of ripeness of the grapes, even in terms of where the grapes are coming from. But for that vineyard, for example, every year we keep a certain amount of bottles in storage, what we call a library, so we can come back to these wines later on and we can actually reflect on our winemaking decisions and then decide whether or not they were appropriate. But it's also a very cool thing because we can assess the aging potential of the wines, and then we said like, oh, I think that wine can age for 10 years, and then 10 years later we go back to it and then it was like, well, maybe it can go for 5 more years, or maybe I should have drank that 2 years earlier. So we're very happy to send you that because we think it's drinking beautifully right now, and this is quite impressive for a wine that was made in 2013. So this is Chardonnay and it's oaked, so it means it's aged in French oak. Here at Adamo we only use French oak, and it stays in barrel for 10 months. And then it's usually approximately 35 to 40% new oak in those wines. So you really feel those fragrances in the nose of toasted almonds, vanilla, cocoa. Those are all coming from the toast from the barrels. You can also reflect and then look at the color. When I was talking about some wines that have blue or green reflection, this is more golden. So this is also from the oak, the color coming. This is still lively. You can still feel the new oak after the amount of time that it's been in bottle, which is impressive. It's well balanced, it's round, and that is also coming from the oak. So the benefits of using new oak or oak in general is basically giving the wine more broadness and also length. So you'll feel like the wine stays in your mouth after, you can chew on those aromatics. And then another component of aging will be the acidity. We'll still have that wine, still have a nice acidity, so it's ready to enjoy now, and we're happy to share that with you. All right, so this was an exciting adventure project. Call it however we want. We chose to call it Bistro, and this is our new wine from this year. We really thought that wine from the beginning, and like as a winemaker you have a vision, but what I really liked when we worked around that is like everyone got involved in that project, from marketing to everyone in the winery, and we came out with that name because we wanted to create something that is fun, that is enjoyable, and that is fruit forward, but it's also at the same time serious enough to be like, okay, this is a wine. So this is our Bistro, because when we picture drinking that wine, we picture what Adamo is that Italian culture, and then that European culture of like going for lunch, sitting at a bistro, having one single plate come in and a glass of an amazing wine, and then off you go and then you do something else in the afternoon. And that's what's inside that bottle. So it is basically a Meritage blend, meaning it's composed of Merlot, Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, and Malbec. We also had a lot of fun designing the label, and it's part of our playful series, so we wanted it to be serious but also looking modern and cool. I think we got that part right. So let's talk about a winemaking fact. Today I'm going to talk to you about the bottle shock. We bottled that wine about 2 weeks ago, and what I would tell you today is that when you receive your shipment, you put that bottle aside for a month before drinking it. Of course, the wine is ready to drink, but what we call a bottle shock is that it goes through the process of bottling. You need to leave a little bit of time to just become itself, because we trapped it in the bottle where before it was nice in a barrel. So it has moved, and it just needs a little bit of time. So we have a beautiful deep purplish color here. The aromatics are amazing. We have a mix of berries. We have an influence of the new oak, that you have that vanilla toast in the middle. It's elegant and complex, but it's accessible at the same time. In the palate, we have a wine that is medium bodied. The tannins are already well integrated. The aromatics are very present. Well, I can taste strawberry, I can taste blackcurrant, and the aromatics are intense and long lasting. I can still chew on them right after I finish to drink my wine. So yes, basically you want to pair that with food, anything would go. And then to be in that spirit of bistro, I would say maybe some pasta, mushroom, a little bit of Parmigiano, and then there it is. This is the exciting part of the summer, is when we are enjoying rosé wines. Rosé wine is a big explosion style of wine in the past, let's say 5 to 10 years. Whether before it was used in winemaking, and this is a fact, more as a side product of winemaking, because it was coming from what we called the saignée. So we would take a little bit of the juice from the red ferment to concentrate the red ferments, and then that would become a byproduct, and then we would bottle it as rosé. Now it's like there is a lot more than that into winemaking, and we're actually not using saignée here at Adamo, but we press directly our wine in the bag press, and then we ferment that juice. So this is what is in Underdog Rosé. This is a blend of Gamay and Cabernet Franc. We purposely use those two grapes for the different things that they bring to the wine. So the Gamay will bring those ripe, jammy fruit, cherries, blackcurrant, blackberries, and then the Cabernet Franc will bring the freshness, like those herbal tones, the fresh tones that you can have jumping out of that glass. This is a beautiful rosé color, very intense aromatic. It's nicely balanced, medium bodied, what we call off dry. So you have a little bit of sweetness, but it's perfectly balanced with the acidity. And again, when we use the Cabernet Franc, it's to also bring that acidity, which has more acidity than the Gamay. And it just results in that beautiful balanced wine with a deep rosé color. This is to be enjoyed without food. Like I said, maybe when your guests arrive at your place, you can have that really cold in the fridge and then pour a glass to everyone, and then you can start enjoying maybe some nibbles or food. But if you're really looking to pair rosé with the meal, I would recommend any fish, white fish, or white meat, chicken, pork. This is our Cabernet Franc from the Foxcroft Vineyard, vintage 2017. So this wine is a single varietal, single vineyard. So let's talk a little bit of varietals and vineyard and how those influence a little bit our winemaking decisions, or why did we decide to do that? We did decide to do a single varietal, single vineyard, because Cabernet Franc is one of those varietals that grows and benefits of the season that we have in Ontario. Plus the Foxcroft site is the site that we've been working with for many years. We love that site, we love the fruit, the Cabernet Franc that is coming from that site. And obviously in our range we have other wines from there. We have the Riesling, and then we have the Chardonnay too. But because we're going towards the fall, this is time to have like a nice Bordeaux blend to enjoy on a rainy day in fall, which is usually like lower in temperature. Not winter, we don't want to think about winter yet. But so Cabernet Franc is usually a little bit lighter in color than Cabernet Sauvignon, so it's more a Grenat red, like let's say a cherry red more than a dark berry red, and it usually have those nicely balanced flavors of red and blackberries with some herbal tones. And this is what we have here, 2017. It's beautiful to drink now. It can age. We can see on the color of the wine that is still a little purple on the outside, so that gives you an information too. Fun facts, if you put your glass on a white paper and then the side is orange, it means that the wine's already pretty old, but if it's purple to orange, it's more young. So you can also assess the age of the wine if you don't have the label in front of your eyes. So this is very, very fragrant. It's complex now, so you still have the young fruit that you can have in the wine, but you also have like leather aromatics that are starting to appear now. So this is probably more medium to full-bodied wine. There is a very nice layering of tannins. There is a lot of tannins, so I would definitely recommend to drink that wine with a meal, and more towards the red meat or the gamey meats. So if you have family or if you have access to game, it's perfect. Any prime rib would do, or roast beef, anything in that range would basically fit that wine pretty well. This is our Pinot Gris 2020. Again, we are really happy that summer is over. I know summer is short here in Canada, but when summer is leading toward its ends, it means for us that it's going to be harvest, and this is really the exciting part of the season that we're really looking forward to it here at Adamo. And we wanted to present you that wine because it's a perfect fall wine, summer and fall. It's fresh and aromatic. It's called an aromatic wine. It's part of the Pinot family, and it's lively, it's refreshing. The fruit is vibrant. We really like that color that has those green blue edges, and we have those aromatic of white peaches, apricot, white flowers, almost like blossom flower in the spring. And you're gonna tell me, well, why do you send that in the spring? But fun facts. This is beautiful to drink now, so we recommend to drink that now, but you could also age it. Pinot Gris has a good potential to age, and it leads towards an aromatic more towards like porcini, like dried mushrooms. That wine is nicely balanced. There is not a lot of acidity compared to Rieslings or other varietals, so it's quite soft and round, medium bodied. You could use that to pair with, for example, a risotto, or any basically kind of like white meat, pork or chicken in the oven, for example. This is our sparkle. So this is very friendly drinking wine, and it pops, which is really cool. We love the label. And this is one way of doing sparkling wine, which is called the Charmat method. So you have kind of, let's say nowadays, 3 different ways to do sparkling wine. You can do what we call pet nat. You probably had some of those wines in your previous shipment, which is the natural fermentation inside the bottle with the lees. Then you have the Charmat method, which is this one. We actually do the second fermentation in a tank, so it builds the bubbles in the wine but within the tank, and then we bottle it under pressure. So this is actually this wine. And then you have the traditional sparkling method, which is more the champagne method, where the second fermentation happens in the bottle. So this is very end of summer drink, right for the fall. We're going through harvest, so we're very excited, and we like to pop bubbles for that. It's 100% Chardonnay Muscat, so you have that fragrant aromas of peaches, honeydew melon, little tones of creaminess. some lively bubbles. It's well balanced in the palate. You have some little bit of residual sugar balanced with the acidity. The bubbles are like make an explosion of those aromas in the mouth. It's very refreshing. It's just a bottle that you could share just like that. Open it with your friends when they arrive at your house, like of aperitif style, like we would do back home in France. Or you could like easily hit it with seafood, oysters, maybe a shared platter of cheese and prosciutto. Well, we've been busy during springs and summer, and we are excited to present you our brand new red wine in can, which some of you might recognize the Douglas here in the label. And we really wanted to have that playful series completed, and the idea is same as the Bistro. Is here at Underdog we produce serious wine always, but we think wine is not always to be taken seriously. So we want to have fun, and we want to present you some projects where you can share that fun with us, and this is exactly what it is here. I'm not gonna say it because I never pronounce it right. Alright, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna try to pronounce that right. So this is Diamond in the Rough. Maybe I'll get it right this time, after many attempts. But we're really happy about that wine. So it's a little bit spritzy. It's part of the process when we can the wine. So our cans are a little bit spritzy, so don't worry about that when you open them. And this is lively red berry, fragrant berry jumping out of the glass. You have a little bit also of that oak mixed into that, but it's very fruit forward and it's light body, round. It's very accessible and easy to drink. And the good thing about having it slightly carbonated is that you can put them in the fridge. And so when we thought about this wine, we thought about it that you might have it to enjoy it cold. So when we created that wine, we thought about that too. So don't hesitate to put them all three in the fridge, and they're ready to